Yes, YouTube, hope that you're good. It's Ben Hawksworth at the Coach Consultant, and I'm in Dubai, so I thought it'd be quite fitting to do a Dubai versus the UK video. This is one of the most frequently questions that I get asked. The reason being is a lot of my best mates are over here, a lot of my clients are over here, and I'll often come over at least 2 or 3 times per year. And in essence, this is probably at least my 12th trip to Dubai, I think it might be. And I'm going to be honest, my perspective has slightly changed on Dubai. I'm just going to explain when I can sit down so I don't feel like I'm stood near the edge of the balcony because it scares me. I'm absolutely petrified of heights. So let me sit down and I'm going to talk through the pros and cons of Dubai and the UK and where my kind of perspective and positioning is on it at the moment. So I wanted to do this video because there's a lot of online coaches and personal trainers who obviously have the aspirations to move to Dubai, and the kind of narrative is that you need to be in Dubai because this is where it's all happening and you can't be successful if you can't come to Dubai. And I'm going to firstly say before going into anything else that I think that is complete bullshit. My opinion on success will come down to, have you got a good idea of what you're doing? Have you got a good structure? Have you got a good internet connection? Have you got a good work ethic? Whether you are in LA, Bali, Rotherham, Sheffield, London, or wherever it may be, it does not matter in terms of the location. For me, Dubai is great for a lot of different areas, but also the UK is as well, and that's what I want to kind of go over now. So, like I've just said on the previous clip, I've been to Dubai quite a lot of different times now. I've been over here for weddings, I've been on family holidays, I've been over for seeing friends, I've been over for kind of meeting and connecting and networking, and this trip has been kind of a bit of a working one. So I basically kind of flew out, come over here, and I rented a Mac Studio, which is obviously kind of set up behind me, like you've seen a lot of the videos on there. And I know it sounds really, really silly. Is every single time I've been to Dubai before, I've almost been quite excited to go back to the UK, and that is the same now because of what I do have at home. But my perspective on Dubai has changed quite a lot. I used to kind of think that it wasn't really for me. And the rationale for that is it's obviously quite a lot of kind of dick measuring, you could say, and I don't really like that. It's not my kind of vibe in any way, shape or form, but I've never come to Dubai and completely focused on being in a good work routine. And what I've basically found this trip is the fact that when I'm in the UK, I have a very busy day. I start at 7 a.m. I'm walking the dogs at 5 a.m. I get up at 4 a.m., walk the dogs at like 5 a.m. I'm then training at like R5, getting to work for 7, and I feel like I'm almost drowning trying to keep up on doing whatever I need to do in terms of my business and myself and obviously my family, and getting back for 5 and supporting everything with T and Remy, and it's quite difficult. And what I've basically found being in Dubai with the extra 4 hours that I have in the morning, which the pros for me has been fucking incredible. I've felt like I can breathe. I felt like I can be on top of everything that I need to do, and I'm not as in a rush as much in the morning. So for some online coaches out there, it's quite negative because they like to do the check-ins first thing. But a lot of the guys out here will do the check-ins the day after they get submitted. So in terms of work, that always used to be something that I kind of questioned, because I was like, can I get into a good routine over in Dubai? Like, is it right for me in terms of the differentiation in hours and everything else? And what I've actually found is it's seriously benefited me. Obviously this week I made a point that I want to connect and network with a lot more people out here, and I've had like 12 to 15 connection meetings. I've gone to some running clubs. I've also gone to a Moolai community where I did like breath work and ice baths and kind of sharing circles, and I've kind of experienced a different side to Dubai, because you have the show off part, but you also have like the culture and the communities as well. And I really feel like I've seen the top benefit associated with what the community and networking is like, alongside being in a really, really good routine. So what you've got to kind of look from that point is, like, for me, what are the pros and cons? The cons for me used to be that I thought I'd never be able to get into a good routine out here. That has been a really big change in perspective for me since I've kind of come out there this time, like I've just spoke about. And then the obvious thing is obviously kind of, for me, the UK, it has its pros and cons. I love the UK in terms of the system, the management, things are on time. I love the ability to go out into the Peak District and the Lake District and go on walks, and I do love everything associated with that. But then at the same time, when you come to Dubai, what I've found out from different people is you've got those type of things about an hour or 2 hours of drive away. So it really comes down to like what type of stuff interests you and what obviously kind of works best for you. But again, like the one bottom line, what kind of has stopped us potentially looking at moving is family. And I think that is the one thing that would stop us moving, because obviously we've got a baby girl, Remy, who's coming up to 1 year old now, and myself and Stacey are obviously very, very close with family in terms of everything back in the UK. But if it wasn't for that, then I don't think that there would be anything that would stop me wanting to come to Dubai. And I think that I want to put this across in a video because I'm almost eating my words, because I've said so many times that I'd never move to Dubai, it's not for me, and everything else. Whereas because I've come with a different mindset and a different structure and a different routine, and I've put myself into different groups and put myself out there, and it's not just been the normal show of going out for meals or doing shitloads of podcasts or like going on like nights out when I was going out drinking and stuff, or getting yachts. Like, I've seen a different side to it, and it's definitely changed my perspective on things. And I've spoke to Stacey, and we're going to be looking at definitely coming over for longer periods of time in February and October, for example, so a month at a time. And I think that what you've got to really kind of take into account is location is everything. I've stayed on the Palm, I've rented a villa on the actual Palm, Palm Strands itself. I've stayed in the marina. I've stayed in absolutely every single location known to man. I'm currently on Emaar Beach in Marina Vista 2, and I love it. It's really peace. It's really quiet. So this is on the harbour. So like 10-minute walk away, you've got a beach and sea. 10-minute walk. Well, not even that. Under 2 minutes. I don't know why I said 10 minutes then. But walk outside, you've got a beach either side. Obviously pool in the apartment, and then overall I've obviously got Ben Bray and Morgan who are staying in this building, and there's a lot of other people in this area, and it feels like a bit of a community. And the thing that I didn't like about Dubai was like the hustle and bustle and the noise and everything else, and I really struggled with that. So when I've stayed in the marina before, I didn't really like it because it was just way too busy and way too loud, and it didn't really give much mental peace. Whereas located here, I think it's really good. I went to visit, I met a guy I've never met before, but he lives in JVC. It's very different to this. It's even quieter, but it's a little bit out of the way, for example. So my advice to you is, when you are thinking potentially about coming to Dubai, is spend a lot of time over here. Spend at least 2-3 weeks in at least 3-4 different locations and find out what your vibe is, because that's the best way I could describe it. Is where you are located will depend on how much you enjoy this experience. There's little things what I still think is quite annoying. So for example, on the harbour here, there's no shop. So I like just the ability to be able to pick something up or go downstairs and get something, whereas the practicality is everything's done on InstaShop or Cream, and you can get anything delivered at any point within like 10-15 minutes. So the practicality is obviously there, but obviously for me personally, I think it would just be very difficult in terms of Stacey, with family support, with Remy and everything else as well. But it's one of them ones, never say never. We're going to start by spending a little bit more time out here. But the more time I've been here now, the more time I realise that the quality of life in Dubai is definitely better than what it is in the UK. The efficiency of being 4 hours ahead, so you can get ahead of a UK working day and not have to take calls and just focus on real like kind of blocks of work and have that kind of open opportunity. There's definitely some massive benefits. But for me, the UK still is always going to have character. The UK is going to have the countryside, it's going to have where your family is, and it's almost like where the heart is. But I think if you're thinking about moving to Dubai, you really need to take it seriously, because, for example, if you move out to Dubai because you feel like you have to be here because of success, then you might potentially actually sacrifice yourself, because you realise your home comforts and being around your family and your friends at home is the one thing that gives you security. So I'd just highly recommend just coming out for like a month at a time, 6 weeks at a time, 8 weeks at a time. I'd be really looking at trying to look at different locations and staying in different spots, and making sure that when you do come over here, you're not just coming in, doing your online check-ins and doing your work, and basically not kind of getting to know the area and not getting to know the experience of it. Because I think that's something that I was personally missing from Dubai before, is I wasn't experiencing what else there is outside of Dubai in terms of different areas and different cultures. For example, we know a lot of people who live out here now. Stacey's cousin, Aaron and Lucy, they live out here and they've got kids. So, do you know what I mean? It can facilitate that type of thing, but it really comes down to just having feet on the ground. I think that's the main fundamental thing. It's like, look, Dubai is incredible because, and I'm not even, as you'll see, for 8 minutes now I've spoke and I have not said anything about the element of tax-free. Because for me, coming over to Dubai just for the sake of saving tax is not what you should be doing. Yes, is it going to massively benefit your business and you're going to get more profits? Yes. But if being here makes you unhappy compared to what you have at home, then it is not a viable decision to come over in any way, shape or form, right? And that's why I've spoke about everything else associated with location, community, activities, what you are doing, making sure you're in a routine, making sure that you're actually comfortable being away from friends and family before you even consider kind of moving down the line, guys. But like I said, this is about me talking about my position and my perspective associated with Dubai, and it has completely and utterly changed. Like I said, never say never. For the time being, it's definitely never, because obviously we have so much family support at home with Remy, and I'm obviously kind of working quite a lot, but yeah, we're going to be spending more time here, definitely, without question. So maybe in October, coming over for a month or 3 weeks. I'll be coming over in February again for maybe a month or 3 weeks, or whatever it may be, and just really kind of get some feelers out. And that's my best recommendation to you guys, is just get out here more often, spend more time, but don't come over, live in one location and think, right, I'm going to judge Dubai based on this, because that's what I did. That's what I've done for 3 years, is I've gone to locations and judged it based on that, whereas I've come to a different location, a different setup, with being here for different reasons, to be in a work routine and being productive and getting stuff done, and I've seen absolutely monumental, massive differences, and I can see why the likes of Ben Bray, Morgan, I've got JJ, I've got a lot of friends out here, and I can see why, for example, Stacey's family, Aaron and Lucy, they moved out here and they've not had any intention to go back, because there are some massive traits, guys. But Dubai isn't for everyone. You need to kind of understand that, and sorry for the saying for the 5th time, is just get out here, stay in different locations, and really weigh up the pros and cons associated with it. What you've got to take into account is that it's not cheap either. So you're going to be looking at a good few thousand per month to rent an apartment. Obviously, JVC is going to be a lot cheaper. Staying on the marina is expensive. Staying here in the harbour is quite expensive. But then you've got to kind of look at the benefits that you'll save in terms of tax and being able to pay for the apartment, and the standard of living and everything that you can obviously achieve and experience as well. And a big one is, when you do come out here, is do what I've done, is really focus on making sure that you've got a normal workstation and work setup that you would normally have in the UK. I work from a Mac Studio and an iMac. Sorry, working from a Mac Studio now, but I have an iMac at home, so getting that has changed the game for me, because if I come out here and try to work on a laptop like I've done previously for a week or 2 weeks at a time, I've really found it stressful, and I've really found it hard to get into a routine. Whereas I made a point this time to ship out all of my Scarlett and my diffuser and my mic and everything that I've got that I normally would work at home, and overall it's been monumental in terms of the productivity, that the amount of stuff that I've got done, the networking opportunities and meetings that I've obviously kind of had, and overall just kind of the ability to be able to breathe, because I've got those extra 4 hours in the morning where I'm not having to try and cram looking after myself, walking the dogs, and obviously getting my full work day done to get home on time for there. So and those 4 hours in the morning really have made an absolute massive monumental difference, a monumental change. So yeah, never say never, but that's my perspective on it, guys. Is number one, when you're going to come out here, is make sure that you try different locations. Don't stay in the same place. Number two, if you are going to come out here, when you come to try locations, make sure you've got a normal workstation set up. Number three is get yourself out there, not into just restaurants and nights out and all that type of stuff, but look for what communities are out there and different places in Dubai, and see what type of activities and stuff that you like. And then number four, guys, is obviously really kind of weigh up the pros and cons associated with obviously not being around close family and friends, which is going to be a massive deal breaker for a lot of people, like it is for us personally with our family. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video, a little bit of a different one, and I'll see you on the next one.